Hi everyone, it's Nicole here from Mama Elephant, and today I have a stamp highlight card featuring the brand new Three Amigos stamp set and coordinating dies. And I used all three of the cute little amigos from this stamp set for my card today. And to start my card, I am stamping all of these critters on some smooth white cardstock, and I'm using the Memento Tuxedo Black ink. I could have used any dye ink really for these. I am not going to Copic color them today. Instead, I'm going to use my colored pencils and some Gamsol, which is odorless mineral spirits, with a stump pencil to color in or blend the colored pencils to get rid of any of those coloring lines. So I'm stamping the images, and then I'm going to go ahead and stamp my greetings from the Three Amigos stamp set on those little sheets of paper that all of them are holding. And I did stamp them out of order. It's actually going to be the fox, then the cat, and the raccoon, so it will read, "You're awesome, I agree," and what they said. There are tons of little greetings that you can customize for these or in this stamp set to create lots and lots of different styles and types of greetings, which I think are so fun. I especially love the cute little, what they said and me too and things like that are in the stamp set. I think it's really fun and cute. Just a really clever way to send a fun greeting to someone. I'm coloring in the raccoon here with my colored pencils first, using some light and some darker gray pencils, and you can see that the coloring lines are really kind of scribbly and not very pretty. The great thing about Gamsol is that when used with one of these stump pencils, it will smooth out all of those lines and give a really nice finished look. You don't want to overblend, I guess, or take your dark into the lighter colors, as it will kind of all become one color. This is a little bit different than Copic coloring. You want to really start with your lighter and kind of blend into the dark. Make sure you clean off the tip of your pencil plenty of times if you need to go back with a lighter color, or if you're switching color. You can also use sandpaper, which you probably saw me doing a little bit ago, to clean the tip of that stump pencil. But it blends out all of those pencil lines so nicely and leaves you with a really, really cool looking image. Now I went back in. You can go back in and add color if you need to. I wanted to darken up a few areas. And then I'm cleaning off the tip there. And I'm going to move over to my fox. Again, not coloring very nice and neat. You can see it kind of scribbly looking. I'm going to lay down my base color here, and then I have a little bit darker color that's going to be my shadow, and I'm just filling in little areas here and there. And then I will take an even lighter color to color in the light areas on my image. I'm going to take a little bit of that orange into the paws. Again, taking my stump pencil, making sure the tip is clean, especially because I'm starting with my lightest color. And I'm going to blend all of that lightest out first, and then I will go into my darker oranges, and I started with the lighter of the two colors I used here, and then I'll blend that into the dark and kind of pull that dark out a little bit to really give a nice blended look. So I think these are just the cutest little critters. I did use Copics to color the raccoon for my card for the Stampede, which you can find a video for that here on my YouTube channel as well. This is just another way to color in the images. Maybe you don't have Copic markers, or you don't like using them for whatever reason. I love my colored pencils. These are Prismacolor colored pencils. I'm going to blend out. I'm coloring all the sheets of paper now, really bright colors, to kind of offset the more neutral tones of the critters. Taking a little bit darker green in. I thought it was a little limey green. I wanted a little bit of shading with a bit darker color. I'm going to take some pinks now for this last one. And the colors of the paper really help brighten up all of these images, I think. Once I have all three of these colored in, I'm going to take the coordinating Three Amigos Creative Cuts dies and use a little post-it tape to tape them in place over the colored images so that they don't shift when I run them through my die cutting machine. Before I do that, I did decide I needed a couple of the accessory images, which is this little wadded up piece of paper plus a pencil. So I'll color those in with Copics really quickly so that I can go ahead and die cut as many of these images at once as I can. Once I have all of those in place, I can go ahead and run all of that through my Big Shot die cutting machine. And then I'll pop all of these out. There was not quite enough space between the two tails, between the raccoon and fox, so I went ahead and die cut everything else, and then I will die cut the fox separately. For the background of my card today, I am going to use a white card base, and I just have a piece of masking paper here, and I'm applied it to the back of my card, and I'm just tearing off the excess. This is to keep the back of my card clean while I apply some distress ink to my card. So I'm using the tumbled glass distress ink and the mini ink blending tool to color in my card base so that it looks like a blue sky. I decided not to go with a solid cardstock, instead colored in my sky and the grass with distress ink. Once I have the sky looking the way I want it to look, I can move on to the grass. The post-it tape just ensures that as I'm moving my project around and working on it, any of that ink that maybe is on my work surface doesn't smear the back of my card and make it all icky. I've done that before and it's so frustrating, so I like to protect the back of my card so it still remains looking nice. I'm using one of the Mama Elephant Borderlines Trio dies to die cut a landscape here. And that's going to go along the bottom edge of my card. Again, I'm going to use distress ink. This is the Mowed Lawn Distress Ink to color in my cardstock instead of using a colored cardstock. So I'm going to keep blending this until I get rid of any of those harsh lines. I had a couple of those circle lines there where I pressed a little too hard when I initially colored in the image, so I'm going to go over that and blend it out really well. Once I have that done, I'm going to take the stitched sky dies and die cut a sunshine from those and color in the sunshine with some scattered straw distress ink. Then I have a die cut here. This is the Cityscape die from Mama Elephant, and I die cut it from some gray cardstock. I'm using a little foam adhesive to adhere my landscape to the bottom edge of my card, and then I'm using just regular adhesive to tuck that cityscape there behind the landscape. Those two ends of the cityscape are going to be covered up with critters, so I don't have to worry about it looking, you know, it's not following the line of the horizon there or whatever. So it covers it up and disguises any of that. I'm using a little foam tape on the top of the critters and then regular adhesive along the bottom. I'm going to line those up in the right order so that they read, "You're awesome, I agree," and what they said. Make sure those are exactly where I want them. I'm going to color in the noses with a black gel pen to really kind of help highlight them. And then I'm using a little matte medium adhesive and some fun googly eyes to dress up the critters. I think this really makes them come alive, those little fun googly eyes. Once I have those all glued in place, I'm going to tuck in my accessory little die cut pieces here that I've stamped and colored, the pencil and the little wadded up piece of paper. Glue those in place with a little zig glue pen. I've tucked the sunshine behind the cityscape, and then I've die cut a couple of the thought bubbles from the Insta Love and Polaroid Fun Creative Cuts die sets. I'm layering the small one here. I've die cut it from some Fog and Lipstick Red Simon Says stamp cardstock, and I adhered the red heart inside the gray thought bubble there with a little foam adhesive and then added it to my card. For the white thought bubble, I'm going to stamp the phrase "I love you" from the Three Amigos stamp set, and then I'll adhere it right above there, and I'm going to add another die cut heart to that thought bubble and then one to the sunshine as well. Once I have those adhered, I'm going to take the glossy accents and apply a layer of glossy accents to all of the hearts to make them nice and shiny and glossy. I hope you've enjoyed this video showcasing a card created with the brand new Three Amigos stamp set and coordinating dies from Mama Elephant. The supplies I've used are listed and linked below the video here on YouTube. Thanks for watching, and we'll catch you next time.